Prayer makes a difference. America celebrates National Day of Prayer. In 1952, America was in the midst of a war in Korea, and President Harry Truman asked the nation to go to prayer and seek divine guidance and strength. And then Congress designated that the first Thursday of May would be a National Day of Prayer. Which brings me to the subject of today's nugget. Prayer makes a difference. And I'll be right back with our coaching segment after picture collage from our Hawaii Leaders Summit.
Pupu ikan nuku Hey love mai Kame aho Ahi aina Mahina kubuna mai Hala hele bulo Ela hele nakaupa
Prayer makes a difference. Rabbinic teachings define prayer as a ladder that connects people with the divine. The late Norman Vincent Peale deeply believed in the power of prayer. He said, the flow of power between the Creator and man is the world's greatest power. Even in the secular world, many are now recognizing this connection. For instance, a public hospital in San Francisco did a study to see if prayers affected patient recovery. They divided 400 patients into two groups. And in the double-blind study, one group was prayed for by strangers who had received their name. The group that was not prayed for suffered congestive heart failure 2.5 times greater than the group that was prayed for. Yet in another study, doctors at the Dartmouth Medical School tracked 232 open heart surgery patients for 6 months. The patients who had religious faith and believed in prayer were over 3 times more likely to recover. On numerous occasions, I've personally seen prayer make a difference in my life and in the life of others. For example, it was after a prayer by a pastor that my dad, who had experienced a horrific heart attack, immediately came out of a comatose state. See, prayer at its core, it's a conversation that can move us from self-reliance to reliance on God. By inviting God into our challenges, we can tap into a power greater than our own. So in conclusion, I'm grateful that we live in a nation that celebrates a National Day of Prayer. However, I believe that as effective leaders, we need to have more than a dedicated day of prayer. By making prayer a key part of our daily routine, we can establish a transformative connection. And this will not only help us to overcome negative situations, but will also bring us greater peace, strength, and clarity. God bless you. Go with increase.